Y'all tell people at work way too much of y'all business. Young people, I need you to listen and gather around. I got a lesson for you. Work is work. The club is the club. Those are two completely different zip codes. And some of y'all walk into the office on Monday morning giving a full documentary. Why do your coworkers know so much about you? People at work don't need to know where you were, who you were with, what you drank, what you smoked, who you dating, who you broke up with, or who even slid in your DMs. See, my grandma used to say, don't shit where you eat. And that's exactly what some of y'all do. You bring your entire personal life to work, and then you wonder why you got drama. Because see, the minute you start crossing those streams between your personal life and work, work starts feeling like reality TV. And now your coworkers know things about you that they never needed to know. Matter of fact, while we talking about it, be careful about making friends at work too. Now, can you make real friends at work? Absolutely. But everybody smiling at you ain't smiling for you. Some people just networking. Some people are just competing. And then some people are collecting information like they building a case file. Be friendly, be professional, and be polite. But remember, your coworkers are not automatically your family. Work is where you make money. Your private life is where you make memories. You need to keep those two things in separate folders. And that has been the conclusion of my TED Talk. Now tell me, what's the biggest lesson you learned the hard way about your coworkers?
Work people are not your friends. Why y'all be going to work looking for friends? The fuck? That's the number one people you should never trust in this world. Work people, coworkers. And don't get it fucked up, because you might get cool with maybe like one or two people, but baby, these people ain't your friends. These will be the same people that will sit up in your face and literally go right to your boss telling every motherfucking thing. And them ones that be like, oh, you gotta watch out from. Nah, that's the one that you gotta watch out from. First of all, I come to work. I don't come to work to make friends. So that's the whole wrong mindset right there. I don't give a fuck about what my coworker doing, who my coworker may be sleeping with, what this person got going on. I don't give two fucks. Because what you eat don't make me shit. And the one thing I don't play the work cliques, the work bullies. I don't do all of that. And we damn sure ain't being friends on motherfucking social media. Bitch, you are blocked before you can even find me.
They told no lies. Your coworkers are not your friends. No, no, no. And you know the sad part is, years ago, you could develop friendships at work and really have friendships. And I think that was almost 16 years ago, where you can develop friendships at work and know that the things that you share, good, bad, or indifferent, stayed within that friend group. You can hang out, you can be vulnerable, you can cry, you can be frustrated, you can laugh, joke, tell them your dreams, all of that, and it stays right there. However, over the years, you just can't do that anymore. I don't know what happened to society and where we got to the point that people just are envious, hating, want to throw people under the bus, gossiping to no end. They try to gain information just to use it against you, just to go back to the rat pack to communicate it and all of that. You don't have friends at work. Those days are long gone. Now, granted, you might be able to make a couple. There's some outliers, but you better than that. Because the truth of the matter is, the people that you think you make be real cool with at work, you're really not. Because you're going to find that when you're not in the building, they in groups talking about you, hearing all the gossip about you, and not coming to your defense or anything like that. They taking it all in, laughing, joking, and all of those things. So who needs friends, enemies, when you have friends like that? I think that's the saying, right? Because you're going to find that now. There's no friendship at work. There's a lot of fakery, fraud, foolishness, a lot of surface level things. People are not your friend. They just not. because we just live in an era where people are looking for faults. They are waiting for you to mess up. They're waiting for you to do something, just simply so they could just talk about it. You know, no longer are people willing to hold your faults to themselves and leave it at that. No, they take it, they run to tell everybody. And so what was once between you and that one person now is a known fact all throughout the health system or whatever the case may be, where at the office, wherever you may be. Because people simply cannot just be genuine and be authentic. That's over. And so, as everyone has said, your coworkers not your friends. I don't care what. And, you know, people take offense when you, in their eyes, they call it standoffish. And it's not standoffish. It's wisdom. It's discernment. And being very observant. You see people for who they are. Once you get a little older, you have some common sense, and you are not a people pleaser. You see people for who they are. You're not going to play yourself and be trying to be all overly friendly, overly sharing your business, good, bad, or indifferent. You're going to just keep your mouth shut and just take it all in, still speak, be cordial, tend to what you need to tend to as a team player, colleagues, if you will. But outside of that, you're not sharing anything else, and people don't know how to react to that. They take it real personal, and it's not personal, it's business, because the less you are around the mess, the less they can put you in a mess. Because the truth of the matter is this: if you're not hanging around in the rat pack, the groups, people can't really bring your name up because you're not in it. Well, how could that be? That person don't even sit in groups, they sit by themselves. So I don't believe they said that, or I don't think this, because you're not around them. And so people just need to not take it personal. People don't want to be involved. I don't want to be around the gossip. I don't want to hear the latest. I don't want to share all my intimate details about my life. I'm not here to do that. All you need to know about me: I serve Christ. I have a husband. I have a daughter. That's it. That's pretty much it. You don't need to know all the nuances on how I live my day-to-day, how I spend my money, my portfolio, where I do on the weekends, what I do on a random Tuesday. You don't need to know all that. I'm not a fan of small talk and nonsense, because what I found is that people just want to be in your business. They don't really care about what you got going on. They just want to get all they can get, compare and contrast, and share your business with other people. It's funny how you could just run into somebody and they share your business, someone else's business with you, and you don't even halfway know that person, or you haven't even seen that person in a decade, and yet they running their whole itinerary down to you. And that's a problem, because you don't know if that's an enemy, a foe, or what. That's not your right to give somebody else's info to someone else. Like, that is just out of pocket. No one should know someone else's business, where they work, what they do, what's going on, what they done brought, what they do. That's crazy work, And that is one of the reasons why your co-workers are not your friends. Keep your business to yourself. That's your best bet. They can call you secret squirrel. They can call you, stuck up, bougie. You think you better. That's the best way to be. Real talk, because they're going to talk about you anyway. So the less they know, the better you'll be. So let's remember, they're not your friends, and they never will be in most cases. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comment section. Till next video. Bye.